If you've ever considered moving to a new city where you know nobody, and you want to know what do the locals know that the newcomers wish they knew, then this video is for you. We're breaking down myths and misconceptions about Denver. Let's go. Guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tim Campman, your host for Everything Denver, Colorado, where we explore all the best neighborhoods to live and help people on their relocations to the Denver metro area. So if you're thinking of doing that yourself, please hit me up, call, text, or email, and download the free relocation guide I have linked in the video description of this video and so many others. Check out all of our playlists about the different neighborhoods and different best places to live in and around Denver. All right, to kick off this video, we're going to talk about elevation and some climate concerns that people have when they move here. So Denver, yes, is the mile-high city, 1 mile above sea level. Elevation can be an issue for people who are not used to that. It can lead to some altitude sickness. Some ways to combat that are giving yourself some time to adjust to it when you first get into Denver. So taking it some time before you head up to the mountains if you're here for a ski trip or a snowboard trip, because the elevations up in that particular area are going to be about 10,000 feet to 12,000 feet. So it's significantly higher than Denver. And if you are already struggling with some of the altitude sickness or things when you come into Denver, it's definitely going to be a little bit more intense for you to go up there and not have adjusted whatsoever. Another thing people don't always think about is we have about 25% less protection from the sun's UV rays being this high in elevation. So be prepared with your sunscreen and lip balm and all those things, and cover up when you're in the mountains and doing the skiing, especially if you come kind of late in the season where it's late winter, early spring, and it's a really cool time to ski because it's nice and warm out and balmy. Still cover up because the sun cutting through the clouds and reflecting off that snow can lead to some gnarly sunburns and burn your eyes. So make sure you got your ski goggles and your sunglasses when you come out here. Another thing to remember is we're a very dry and arid state. So being here and lived here all my life, I'm very used to it, and I don't really have very many problems skin or staying hydrated. But in the winter, it does get pretty dry here. So I know we got a lot of snow, but still it's super dry. And if you come from a very humid place or damp or wet place like the Northwest or maybe even the South, you're going to notice that things dry out a lot here. So it takes a lot more to stay hydrated, and that's also something that can help you combat that altitude sickness if that does seem to be an issue for you. All right, number 2, navigating public transportation. Now, Denver does have its own RTD or public transportation system, but what we know as locals is that it doesn't work very well. It's not the greatest. Most people use it typically for getting into downtown or out of downtowns for special events, whether that be a show at the Performing Arts or one of the Broncos games on a Sunday, Rockies games during the summer, or one of the other sports teams that plays in the downtown corridor area. That's primarily what a lot of people will use the public transportation system for. Some people do use it for commuting into downtown for work, or if they have an office that's somewhere along one of the routes, they might take it. But by and large, most of what the public transportation system is used for by locals who live in the suburban areas is to get in and out of Denver without having to pay for parking or deal with the traffic and congestion that comes with it. Like I said, it's not the best. It's not super reliable in some areas. Not to say that the buses don't run, but not run on time, and it might take a lot longer to get across town using the bus system than it would be just to drive. So what a lot of locals know is that Colorado is very car dependent, and if you want reliable transportation and to get around and navigate around easily, yes, you're going to want your own car. And you're probably going to want something with all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. I jokingly say and regrettingly say that the Subaru is kind of the car of Colorado. It's what a lot of people drive around here. I prefer to say the Toyota 4Runner or Jeep Wrangler would be the car of Colorado, but it's nice to have something that's four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive when you move out here for those times in the winter when it does snow. Now, can you get around with a two-wheel drive vehicle? Yes, absolutely. If you have a front-wheel drive, two-wheel drive vehicle, you can get around quite easily. Me and my family have a minivan that only has front-wheel drive, and we get around pretty smoothly throughout the winter time. There's only been a couple times where it's like a little sketchy getting around in just the two-wheel drive vehicle, and for those times we do have a four-wheel drive vehicle to get around. So do plan on having a car when you come out here, and it's definitely a benefit to have a four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive vehicle. Now, something a lot of locals love about living in Colorado is the ability to embrace all 4 seasons. We do have a wide variety of weather here, and it can be unpredictable, but we definitely get all 4 seasons in a single year here in Colorado. Sometimes we even get 4 seasons seasons in a single day here in our springtime, where it's winter in the morning, it's very brisk and cold. By the mid-morning, it's springtime, the sun is shining. By the afternoon, it feels like a summer heat wave has hit you, and then as soon as the sun goes down, we are back to spring or winter temperatures. So we can have drastic temperature swings as much as 50 degrees in one day. I think that was one of our biggest temperature swings that we ever had within a 24-hour period. But we do get to experience really nice weather almost year-round, and we have a lot of sunny days here in Colorado. And the biggest benefit of that, and something that people love about it, is the fact that it's dry in the winter and we do have so many sunny days. Is it could be 45 or 50 degrees in the wintertime, and if it's sunny, it's going to feel like a spring or a summer day. Honestly, it's very balmy and comfortable outside in a t-shirt and shorts, and you'll see guys wearing shorts all year round here in the Denver metro. So we definitely don't get the bitter cold of like the Northwest, where it's rainy and humid, and even if it's 40 degrees, it's cutting right through to your bone, or maybe some places in the South where it gets that cold and you have those humid temperatures and it just gets really frigid. So really blessed to get all 4 seasons here. Fall time is probably the favorite of everybody when you see all the colors change, the leaves change on the trees, and people make an event of it and go up to the high country to watch some of these areas where they got a lot of aspen trees and a lot of different vibrant colors in the area. So definitely something that a lot of people enjoy, locals and newcomers alike. Okay, next we're going to talk about like community and events that happen around Denver. Now, Denver is grown into a big city, so it really doesn't have that small town or community feel anymore. Maybe 20, 30 years ago, it still did. It hadn't grown quite as much, but Denver, it really classifies as a big city now. Same with Aurora, and parts of Lakewood probably also do fall into that category of, hey, this is just big city living. So if you're looking for big city living, yes, Colorado definitely has it. We have very urban areas in that downtown Denver area, Lodo and Rhino and Capitol Hill neighborhoods, where you're going to have a very urban vibe, walkable, but also kind of a corporate concrete jungle feel. The other side of that is when you move outskirts of Denver, you're going to have these little smaller communities that will still give you that small community feel. So if you're looking for something that does have still community feel to it, where you can get to know some of the people that live either in your neighborhood or community that you live in, there are those options, but they're going to be in the smaller suburbs, places like Arvada and Littleton. Even pockets of Centennial and Castle Rock and Parker are gonna still feel like larger cities, but still have a community feel with some of the programs and events they put on. Denver, you're really not gonna find much of a community vibe. Yes, there's different, parades and things that they shut down the streets for in downtown Denver, but by and large, unless you're getting to know your neighbors in your local community, like the Highlands or Sloan's Lake, you really kind of lose the community feel, and you need to move outside of Denver to find that. Okay, things to do in Denver. And this is what locals know that a lot of new people don't. And part of that may be me and my cohort's fault for saying, hey, Denver has so many outdoor activity options, but you really gotta drive outside of Denver to get to most of those, unless you live in one of the suburban areas. So a lot of the things to do around Denver that are outdoor activities, the hiking, the mountain biking, the snowshoeing in the winter, the skiing, the snowboarding, all of those things that kind of drive people to Colorado are actually outside of Denver. Most of them are to the west in the foothills and the mountainous areas, or to the south and to the outskirts of Denver. So if you're looking for that outdoor living activities and things to do that are outdoor recreation, Denver is not going to be the actual hub for that. You're going to want to move to one of the suburbs. Places on the north end like Erie and Loveland and the Fort Collins area are really close to a lot of great outdoor activities. And then you move to the west of Denver, places like Evergreen and Conifer and Morrison are going to give you that mountain feel with a lot of mountain activities. And then on the southwest end, the Littleton and Sterling Ranch and Castle Rock and all those places, Larkspur, are going to give you that outdoor experience as well. But by and large, you're really not going to find it within Denver. Okay, and now let's break down where you might want to live on the move to Denver. So Denver has a lot of very diverse neighborhoods. Well, that is something that we do have a lot of, not only just within Denver, but outside in the suburban areas. You got a lot of diversity and things to choose from throughout the Denver metro. So if you're looking for a young professional's hip and edgy vibe, places like Rhino and the Highlands and Capitol Hill are probably going to fit that vibe and that style of living, where you have a lot of nightlife, you have kind of an artistic vibe to it, and a little bit more of a just edgier nighttime vibe in those areas. If you're looking for something that's quiet and more suburban while not being the suburbs particularly, Denver has a lot of those neighborhoods as well. Places on the west end like Berkeley and Sloan's Lake, and then Wash Park and South Park Hill are going to be neighborhoods that are a little bit more geared towards families, where they don't have, the same walkability quite as much as some of those interior areas, but they're going to have a safer, more family friendly feel to them, as well as higher rated school districts. So that is just kind of within Denver, but if you move out from there, we got a ton of different neighborhoods and suburbs that are going to be perfect for a lot of families and young professionals. So if you're young, just moving out here, not ready to start a family yet, but Denver's not quite fitting the vibe of what you're looking for, places like Arvada or Old Town Littleton are still going to have, its uniqueness and culture and a place to have some nightlife while not being surrounded by it all the time. Those are great places to go check out. But if you're looking for a family-friendly environment, places like Parker and Castle Rock are really geared towards families. So there's a lot of different neighborhoods and suburbs and cities all around Denver Metro that can really fit what you're looking for. But if you're looking for the outdoor and active lifestyle, remember, you're going to have to travel quite a bit away from Denver to access all those things. So that is definitely something to remember, and a myth that kind of comes along with moving to Denver. All right, I hope you guys found this video helpful. Maybe we confirmed some rumors or busted some myths you might have heard about the Denver metro area. If you're thinking of a move here, make sure you hit me up. Call, text, or email. I got your back on all things Denver real estate. And be sure to download that free relocation guide I have linked in the video description below. A lot of good information in there and can help you get started on the relocation to Denver if you're not quite ready for a call yet. But until next time, guys, please help the slowest growing channel on YouTube and give this a like and a subscribe. We'll see you on the next video.